What if I told you that you are not actually addicted to sex? What if the urge that feels completely uncontrollable right now isn't a reflection of your manhood, but a virus that has hijacked your brain? Every single day, millions of young men sit alone in dark rooms, staring at glowing screens, surrendering their focus, their energy, and their ambition to a phantom. They promise themselves it's the last time, only to break that promise a few hours later. If you are watching this, you know exactly what that cycle feels like. You feel trapped, exhausted, and deeply frustrated with your own lack of control. But today, the cycle stops. In this video, we are going to break down the exact psychological and biological mechanisms that are keeping you hooked, and I am going to give you a definitive blueprint to take back complete control of your mind. Look around you. We live in the most hypersexualized era in human history. Every time you open social media, every billboard you pass, every music video you watch is weaponized to exploit your biology. Lust has become the quiet epidemic of our generation. It is a modern addiction masquerading as a natural instinct. But here is the brutal truth. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real-life intimate encounter and a pixelated image on a screen. When you consume pornography or indulge in constant lustful thoughts, your brain releases a massive flood of dopamine. This isn't a normal baseline spike, it is a neurological tsunami. Over time, your brain adapts by shutting down its receptors. Suddenly, the everyday things that used to bring you joy, like working out, studying, or building a business, feel incredibly boring. You aren't lazy, your brain has just been rewired to only respond to extreme stimulation. To defeat an enemy, you have to understand exactly what it is. Lust is not the same thing as attraction. Attraction is noticing beauty and feeling a natural human pull toward it. Lust, however, is a predatory desire to possess, consume, and objectify. It is a bottomless pit. The reason it feels completely impossible to control is because you are fighting a battle against millions of years of human evolution with nothing but willpower. Think of your willpower like a phone battery. When you wake up in the morning, it is at 100%, but as you face stress, fatigue, and temptation throughout the day, that battery drains. By 11 p.m., when you are lying in bed alone with your phone, your willpower battery is at 2%. If your entire strategy relies on just trying really hard to say no, you will lose every single time. Pornography rewires the pathways of your brain through a process called neuroplasticity. The more you engage in a behavior, the stronger that neural pathway becomes, turning into a mental superhighway. Eventually, lust becomes your default coping mechanism. When you are bored, you lust. When you are stressed, you lust. When you are lonely, you lust. It is rarely ever about physical desire. It is an emotional escape route from reality. If you want to break the chains, you need a strategy that goes beyond just white-knuckling your way through the day. You need a systematic overhaul of your daily habits. Here are 10 practical, battle-tested ways to control lust and reclaim your mental freedom. First, you must execute a dopamine detox. This means drastically reducing your consumption of instant gratification activities like mindless scrolling, video games, and adult content for a set period. Think of it as hitting the master reset button on your brain's reward system. Imagine your brain is a crowded room filled with screaming voices. A dopamine detox turns down the volume. Within just a few days, your focus will return, your baseline anxiety will drop, and you will find pleasure in the normal, productive tasks of life again. Second, you need to channel that raw energy into intense physical exercise. Sexual energy is one of the most potent creative forces inside a man. If you do not give it an outlet, it will ferment and turn into lust. When you hit the gym and lift heavy weights or push yourself through a brutal run, you are transmuting that pent-up energy into physical strength and mental resilience. Instead of letting that power consume you from the inside, use it to build a body you can be proud of. Third, practice daily mindfulness and meditation. Lust usually catches you off guard because you are living on autopilot. A thought pops into your head, and you immediately react to it. Meditation trains you to become an observer of your mind. When an intrusive, lustful thought appears, you don't fight it, and you don't indulge it. You simply watch it pass by like a cloud in the sky. You learn to create a gap between the stimulus and your response, and in that gap lies your ultimate freedom. Fourth, connect with prayer, or a deeper sense of spirituality. No matter your specific beliefs, acknowledging a power greater than yourself humbles the ego. Lust thrives on isolation and selfishness. When you cultivate a daily spiritual practice, you shift your focus from immediate physical self-gratification to a higher, more meaningful purpose. It reminds you that you are part of a bigger story, and it gives you the strength to stand tall when you feel weak. 5th, relentlessly eliminate your triggers. Stop leaving your success up to chance. If there is a specific social media app that always leads you down a dark path, delete it. If you find yourself slipping into old habits when you bring your phone into bed at night, leave your phone in the kitchen. If you are walking through a minefield, you don't just hope you won't step on a bomb, you actively avoid the path entirely. Cleanse your digital environment with absolute ruthlessness. 6th, build ironclad discipline through small daily victories. Discipline is a muscle that must be trained. If you cannot discipline yourself to make your bed in the morning, or to eat clean food, or to finish your work on time, you will never have the discipline to conquer your deepest biological urges. Start small. Fix your posture, clean your room, and show up exactly when you say you will. Every single time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-respect grows and lust loses its grip on you. 7th, keep yourself aggressively busy. The old saying is profoundly true. An idle mind is the devil's playground. If you are sitting on your couch on a Saturday afternoon with absolutely nothing to do, temptation will inevitably find you. Fill your schedule with high-value activities. Pick up a side hustle, learn a new skill, read books that challenge your intellect, or master a craft. When your days are packed with purpose and pursuit, you simply won't have the time or the mental bandwidth to waste on low-level desires. 8th, fix your sleep hygiene. Sleep deprivation directly compromises your prefrontal cortex, which is the exact part of your brain responsible for logic, decision-making, and impulse control. When you are exhausted, your brain operates on survival mode, seeking the quickest, easiest dopamine hit available. Prioritize getting 7 to 8 hours of high-quality sleep every single night. Go to bed at the same time, keep your room cool, and wind down without screens. A well-rested brain is a disciplined brain. 9th, cultivate healthy, real-world relationships. Human beings are fundamentally wired for deep connection. When a man lacks genuine, authentic connections with friends, family, or a community, he often tries to fill that emotional void with the cheap imitation of intimacy found in lust. Surround yourself with high-value men who push you to be better. Build friendships based on mutual respect, shared goals, and accountability, rather than just partying or surface-level entertainment. 10th, replace your destructive habits with productive ones. You can never truly eliminate a habit. You can only replace it. If you try to remove lust from your life without putting something meaningful in its place, you will leave a massive vacuum that will eventually pull you right back in. If your habit loop is feeling stressed, opening your laptop and indulging in lust, you must replace the action. The next time you feel stressed, immediately grab your journal, do 20 push-ups, or step outside for a walk. Let me tell you a story about a young man named David. A few years ago, David was completely stuck. He was 22 years old, living with his parents, working a dead-end job, and spent almost every evening locked in his room, consumed by pornography and casual dating apps. He felt a deep, lingering sense of shame every single morning. He could barely look his father in the eye, and his confidence around women was completely non-existent because he viewed them solely through a lens of consumption. He tried to quit dozens of times, but always relapsed after a few days. One evening, after hitting rock bottom, David looked at himself in the mirror and realized something profound. He realized that his addiction to lust was actively killing the man he was supposed to become. He decided to change his entire approach. He didn't just try to stop, he changed his environment. He deleted his accounts, joined a local boxing gym, and started waking up at 5 a.m. every day to study coding. The first 2 weeks were absolute torture. His brain screamed for the easy dopamine. But David held the line. Every time the urge struck, he channeled that intensity directly into his workouts or his code. 6 months later, David was unrecognizable. His focus was sharper than it had ever been. He landed a high-paying tech job, his posture changed, and the guilt that had weighed down his shoulders for years completely vanished. He didn't eradicate his sexual energy. He tamed it, harnessed it, and used it as the fuel to build an extraordinary life. Mastering your lust is not about suppressing your humanity. It is not about pretending that you do not have desires or treating your biology like it is inherently evil. Sexual energy is a powerful, beautiful, and natural part of being a man. The question is never whether you have that fire inside you. The question is whether that fire is going to cook your food or burn your entire house down. When you choose to control your lust, you are choosing to become the absolute strongest, most focused version of yourself. You are choosing to respect women, to respect your own time, and to protect your mental sanctity. You are choosing to be a king who rules over his emotions, rather than a slave who is constantly dragged around by his impulses. It is time to step up. If you are ready to stop settling for pixels and start building a real, powerful life, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. Drop a comment below right now that says, "I choose discipline," to lock in this commitment to yourself and let the community know you are on this path. Share this video with a brother who needs to hear this truth today. Thank you for watching, keep pushing forward, and I will see you in the next video.